Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Salt Lake City Snowhawks expansion franchise here on Madden 25 as we're starting here against the Green Bay Packers in Week 12 of this year for a season and key moment game here, and we're just going to pick it up to open this episode in the fourth quarter. Our Snowhawks leading 35-30 as a chance now in the red zone to pile it on and make this a two-possession game as we do hook up there with Mark Andrews. Lucas McDonald, a phenomenal performance in this one as he strung together a few good performances, really putting all those franchise quarterback questions to bed as we enter the home stretch of this season. Our Snowhawks come off a win last time out against the Cincinnati Bengals, which was much needed, and now if we're able to get back-to-back wins for the first time this season, that would keep us alive in the playoff picture as Darnell Washington, the free agent signing from Pittsburgh, trying to leap for the end zone, as maybe better off just using that body to power through everybody, but now a first and goal at the 1, knocking on the doorstep of making this a two-possession game as Lucas McDonald 4 touchdowns in this one, 3 via the air, 1 on the ground, and 2 have gone to rookie wide receiver Carlos Alvarez, number 9 there towards the top of the screen, partnered with Marvin Harrison Jr. as we will go for the ground game here, and Tank Bigsby going to leap ahead for the touchdown as that makes it 11-point lead now for Salt Lake City. What a performance here in Week 12, taking on the 5-5 Green Bay Packers as they come off a loss last time out, as they seem to be fading in the NFC North. The Detroit Lions at 8-2 leading the way as they are the second team in the NFC now. The Eagles have topped them in recent weeks, but a wild start here, a 9-play, 69-yard drive as we are going to just tune into the rest of this game despite a pretty decent lead as Lucas McDonald and the offense really a breakout performance here. We really needed this. It's been tough goings throughout this year for a season offensively, and even in this game down our starting left guard as Cade Moreland is out, and Seth Rosenthal, second-round pick, rookie out of North Carolina, makes his first career start at left guard. Now Jordan Love up and down in this game, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, as he had a 4th down conversion. Their last play of the first half went for a touchdown to Romeo Doubs. It was like 40 or 50 yards. I just watched that one in disbelief, as I think that tied it up at halftime, or Green Bay trailed by 1 at halftime. So the Snowhawks have absolutely dominated here in the second half, but need to close it out still as Love overthrows his man that time. As you see there, Quay Walker, his second season with the Snowhawks, came over from Green Bay, so his revenge game. Also, Dontavion Wicks at receiver for us has a touchdown here against his former team as well. And now Love going to roll right, sets and throws, and that one only for 2. Quay Walker on the stop. And it's now 3rd and 8 at the 32-yard line. And in this episode, going to sim ahead a couple more games, just a quick advance, and we'll see how we fare. As I mean, if we are able to come out of this one with a win, we're still alive in the playoff picture, as that's going to be knocked down. First-round pick Dale Gilmore has really come on strong here in recent weeks. I think, though, still searching for that first career interception, but he always seems to be in the right place at the right time, as our first-round picks have been shining here as of late, especially Carlos Alvarez. I think now 9 touchdown catches for him so far in his rookie season, as Love on 4th down, firing down the field, and again Dale Gilmore, that one hits off his back as we forced a turnover on down. So what a refreshing game this time out for Salt Lake City. Despite the defense surrendering 30 points, our offense has certainly handled business. And look at Carlos Alvarez, 10 catches, 152 yards, and 2 scores. He's been absolute dynamite here as of late, and hopefully he can get another end zone. Let's make it a hat trick for him here against the Packers. Favorable field position here at the 32. Less than 5 minutes left, a 12-point lead. McDonald in the pocket as Darnell Washington, that one for 6. And we'll see a 432 total yards in this game, by far the most we've had this season. As you saw there, we've struggled 27th in total offense in the NFL so far this season. And that time we will get Dontavion Wicks, I think his 5th catch now of the game, about 60 yards or so, and as I said, did score a touchdown. Now first down at the 21, and I wish every game was like this, where we're just moving the ball with ease. Mark Andrews there in motion. McDonald, try to get him there underneath, but knocked down at the line. And we do have some winnable games coming up, most notably against the Giants, and I think also the Tennessee Titans, although they do have a winning record so far this season, surprisingly. As McDonald there towards the sideline, that's going to go for 1. We also will get Christian McCaffrey back in a couple weeks, along with our starting left guard, Cade Moreland, I believe next week. As it's now 3rd and 9, 3 minutes remaining in this game. McDonald in the pocket, as it will collapse on him again. Ikenna Konwu at right tackle, surrendering the sack there to Rashawn Gary, earning $30 million this season from the Packers, a pending free agent. The production has been down and just too wide on that pass set from Konwu, and Rashawn Gary was able to identify that inside leverage and eventually get there to wrap up McDonald. But McDonald has done a much better job at breaking sacks and extending plays here as of late. We did go ahead and cut Joshua Carty after the last episode after he missed a potential game-winning field goal in overtime. Now Hayes, the rookie out of Oregon there from 46, as that one is up in good. Hayes, an undrafted free agent we signed out of Oregon, does have star development, and that I think is his first or second field goal he's made. And you see the stat line there for Jordan Love, 21 for 37, 250 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. We'll see if he can get some points back. Need a touchdown, and then another touchdown with a 2-point conversion. So Salt Lake City sitting pretty right now, which is a rare sight, but just goes to show we're making strides here, and some long strides after the catch that time. I want to say that was Romeo Dobbs, as we do hit the 2-minute warning, and by far the highest scoring game we've had this season. Usually it's like 13-6 or something like that, so it's great to get varied results here as Love again overthrows his man, a misfire. And as one of the highest paid players in all of football, you got to make that pass. And now 2nd down. Love in the pocket, flings that towards the sideline, and that's knocked down. And that is going to be Max Melton working against Tucker Kraft, at tight end. Max Melton on an expiring contract, going to try and bring him back, but ultimately we do want to get a stud corner for the outside on this defense. And now Love going to throw that, and that's knocked down. That's Nathan Scruggs, his 2nd year out of Ole Miss, last year's 2nd-round pick. And he definitely is, I think, solidified into a starting role going into next season. Probably the only cornerback that we have that is, along with Gilmore and Matthew Torrance at the safety positions. And now Love on 4th down again, steps up, and again Gilmore in the right place at the right time, going to knock that down as our defense back-to-back drives, forcing the 3-and-out, or maybe not the 3-and-out, but forcing the 4th down stop. As look at Gilmore just leaping up for that one, knocking it away. And the former Tennessee Volunteers showing a lot of veteran savvy. And you see their number 53, Rosenthal, leading out his quarterback, and a fellow rookie there, Carlos Alvarez. Will have yourself a day. Dontavion Wicks also a touchdown as well, as our passing game is getting it going here against the Packers, and we need to carry this into the late season stretch here as our Snowhawks set to advance to 5-6. What a step up. Just, what a difference putting back-to-back wins makes. Going from 3-6 to 5-6 is just leaps and bounds different, especially comparing to last season when our win total was 4. And we're set to exceed that with 6 games remaining. And now Tank Bigsby the give. Really nothing doing. Green Bay burns their 2nd timeout. 3rd and 8 now. As we will go back to the ground game, playing a conservative. And a tackle for loss that time, although the Packers do burn their final timeout. I think that's Tyreek Stevenson on the stop. And we'll go to the punt game here. Matt Ariza with 90 seconds remaining. Let's get some good hang time here, as no timeouts left for Green Bay. And that punt goes for just 30. Josh Jacobs with 95 rushing yards in this game, but probably won't see him much here in the final drive for Green Bay. Love in the pocket. Rolling to the left now, steps up and fires. And that's going to be knocked down by Jerry Sexton. We have Dale Gilmore, Nathan Scruggs, and Jerry Sexton, probably 3 of the building blocks on defense that we have drafted into the organization. Sexton, a 90-speed middle linebacker out of UW, won Defensive Rookie of the Year last season. Love, and that one a misfire. A few players in the vicinity, mostly Snowhawks, as Love is able to live to see another down. As it's now 3rd and 10, a bunch of incompletions down the stretch here for Jordan Love. Sitting in the pocket. Again down the field, and again going to be knocked away by Dale Gilmore. You wish he had that first career pick here to seal this one, but in and out of the hands, Butterfingers. But maybe a strategic play. And so he'll give Green Bay one more chance here. 4th down from the 25. Love going to sling that up, and that will be caught. What a catch to keep it going here. as that was against Nathan Scruggs. I'm not sure who the target was. I don't think that was Tucker Kraft, as Love now towards the sideline. That one incomplete. Second down, Love takes the snap. 4-man rush for Salt Lake City. Love fires that into the soft spot. Had a man in and out of the hands, as that one is incomplete. Ladarius Shields, former first-round pick. His third year now in the league, really trying to find his footing still in this Packers offense. And now just 38 seconds left. Love from the pocket has a man there on the comeback, and that will extend the drive, move the chains, as Nathan Scruggs 10 tackles at the corner position today. And now Love rolling to the left, resetting, and thought he was going to keep it, and eventually we'll just throw that one away. So time for maybe 1 or 2 more plays here for the Packers, trailing by 15. Love sitting in the pocket, and again just going to throw that one away. And now just 5 seconds remaining. Hopefully this is the last play, as it will be. Love scanning, and going to be brought down. Fumbles, as Kwity Paye was there for the sack. Didn't realize he forced the fumble as well. Sexton almost there to pick it up, as our Salt Lake City Snowhawks put together back-to-back wins for the first time in this Tier 4 season, advancing to 5-6. A huge win here against the Green Bay Packers to keep our heads above water in the playoff picture. Probably not going to win the division, as the San Francisco 49ers and Los Angeles Rams pulling away at the top, but the wild card is always open here. With still 6 games left to play, we can certainly swing that into our favor. So it's not done just yet in terms of our playoff dreams, as we may have something on the horizon in this Year 4 season. And a quick run through of the stats. Jordan Love, 51 pass attempts in this game for 47%, although he did eclipse 300. But Lucas McDonald, 32 out of 42 for 342 passing, 76%, 3 touchdown passes, no turnovers, 8.1 yards per attempt. Tank Bigsby, 2 touchdown runs, 70 yards on the ground. Lucas McDonald, 23 yards with a touchdown. Carlos Alvarez, 10 for 152, 2 scores. Dontavion Wicks, 8 for 87 and a score against his former team, as he came over in free agency. Double-digit tackles for Quay Walker, the former Packer, and Nathan Scruggs. 2 tackles for loss for Sexton and Kwity Paye, who had that late sack, and Joey Bosa also added a sack, and Scruggs also had an interception. You love to see that from our young corner. And now post-game, we have 2 skill points to utilize here for Carlos Alvarez, as our players are starting to get their morale back up, starting to get some upgrades. And looking at his stats, definitely want that route running to go up, that release, as the catching is pretty good. Of course, could use some improvement, but that route running is really the big concern at this point. But we can go deep route. I think we might go deep route. That might affect his morale, but we'll see, as we'll get release, spec catch, and deep route. And that morale goes back neutral, it seems, so a good call, as we get +1 catch, deep route, medium route, and juke, +2 awareness. But we do have 1 more upgrade to use. Should we just go back to that same thing? Maybe we'll go slot this time, or just fill into his, or play into his physical archetype, which I think at this point we will just do, as he's now up to a 79 overall. And with that one, we get +3 awareness, +2 short route, +1 catch in traffic, and spec catch. And now for Nathan Scruggs, another guy we have drafted that is probably going to be a building block on this team, a piece of our foundation moving forward, as he has pretty good athletic traits with 91 speed, 92 acceleration, 90 agility, 92 jumping. Good man, although it is seeing a little decrease right now, -2, as well as zone coverage. So we will just continue building up that man archetype, as he does go up to an 82 overall now. And he gets +1 for awareness, man, and zone, +3 for play rec, and +2 for press. And now looking at the NFC Players of the Week, we had Lucas McDonald take home NFC Offensive Player of the Week with that dynamic performance, 4 total touchdowns, and then Nathan Scruggs, who we just upgraded, 10 tackles with an interception. And then we'll go back to week 10, where Lucas McDonald was also Offensive Player of the Week. So he's had it in his last 2 games, as we did have a bye there in week 11. And then even going back to week 9, we had Andrew Van Ginkel as a Defensive Player of the Week, as he had that 5-sack performance in that overtime loss to the Rams. As we're now here in week 13, visiting the New York Giants, each side here at 5-6, as this matchup dictates so much in the NFC Wildcard playoff picture. So maybe we should just go into the key moments for this one. Again, I was going to wait until a couple games down the line, when we had more clarity on our playoff prospects, as we are going to play the Rams, the Steelers, the Titans. So a couple AFC teams coming up. Also a division game, as we're currently 0-4 in the NFC West. But we're just going to wait and hold off on another live look and then just go ahead and clean sim, straight sim this New York Giants matchup. Hopefully we get back to 500 football. But before that, actually just noticed we have to set our focus scouting. I think we have 3 players now at this point we can choose to use for our super focus scouting, which would pretty much get us to 100% scouted on them. I don't know how much time we'll spend looking at the draft board in this episode, but we spent a lot of time looking at it last week, or in last episode, so highly recommend you go back and check that out. But a quick scroll down the board here, as we are starting to get some good scouting percentages here, 70%, 75% on some of these guys. As of course, for our super focused scouting right now, probably going to target someone that's at just 40%. So maybe a cornerback, maybe a D end, a tackle, as we're definitely eyeing up someone like Levi Falk here out of LSU, but out of Auburn. But our top option that we're looking at has to be George Jackson here, 6'4", 308 out of Michigan. Although now we see that pass block could be down to an F, which certainly would not bode well, but his athletics are great to elite in pretty much every category except speed, which is good to great, and then not the strongest, but holds up in every other category. So with that being said, George Jackson probably will be one of the prospects we bring in for super focused scouting, which would leave 2 more spots, maybe a pass rusher, maybe a defensive tackle. As Colt McCormick, someone I'm thinking about. We do have him, I think, or it says 55% scouted with B pursuit, C tackle, and overall a pretty good athlete. Even though he can rush the passer, he has that A finesse move. He also can drop back into coverage with C man coverage, C to F for zone. But being that man is already at C, I would think that zone coverage is at least a C or a D probably. I don't think it's going to drop down all the way to an F. So we're in the market for a pass rusher. Colt McCormick could be that guy, because if we come over to D end, that's our national focus, and we already have all these guys at least 70% scouted. So I think by the time the draft rolls around, we'll have talent grades on all of these D ends, some of whom will translate to D tackle. So we don't have to worry about this position. Kentrell Sanborn, someone I really like at A finesse move, C block shed, 6'4", 253 out of Miami, and he has really good physical trait projections as well. D tackle, maybe one of these 2 guys at the top. We have Joe McGee out of Wisconsin, 6'1", 307 with A power move, B finesse move, so definitely can rush the passer from the interior, and he does have that C block shed. So I feel like with most of these D tackles, when they have a good pass rush skill set, they usually have to trade off with poor block shed, poor run defense, but it doesn't seem to be the case here for McGee, who does have great to elite for jumping and then good to great in pretty much every other category. But being that he's the top D tackle in the class, I don't know if we'll have a chance to draft him, although he is 19 on the overall board. And then Tyrone Springs here, a speed rusher out of Oregon State, who we really like, B power move. So that finesse move probably going to be an A or a B, as he is a speed rusher. So another guy who can get home from the interior. That block shed, though, C to F, really hoping that comes up as a C, as he looks to be a better athlete than the other D tackle we were just talking about. Great to elite for acceleration, agility, and speed. Good to great for strength, and already with A awareness, B play rec, but D tackle, so a little bit weaker in that spot. So I think McGee may be more balanced as a player, whereas Tyrone Springs is the better athlete. So each of these guys a target for us in the first round with one of our 2 first-round picks. And then we have Mitchell Walker here, 6'3", 300 out of LSU. Balanced skill set with that C block shed finesse move, and then B for power move there as a power rusher. And overall, a pretty good athlete across the board with great to elite for speed. Although the strength does take a little bit of a hit there, decent to solid, but good play traits to work off of. Although I think if we're going to go D tackle in the first round, probably going to be Joe McGee or Tyrone Springs. Maybe one of these guys at D end who transfers over, like Josh Boyce, and also AJ Harbor here, 6'6", 307 out of USF, a run stopper with B block shed, but also has B power move, D finesse move, A tackle, just 21 years old. I thought his athleticism was a little bit better based on the traits on the left there, but I think compared to the D ends, of course, it's a little bit different when you're comparing D end like AJ Harbor, who's more of a D tackle in a 4-3 scheme, and then comparing his physicals to someone like Kentrell Sanborn, a strict D end in a 4-3 scheme, whereas these other guys are going to be D tackles in that scheme. So I wish there was a better way to compare physicals, because it's only going to compare to players at their respective positions. And DJ Carter, another guy here at the top, 7th on the national board. B finesse, C power move, and then D for block shed. But really his athleticism is his main draw here at the top of the draft, with great to elite for acceleration and jumping, good to great for speed and change of direction. And at right end, also like Josh Cooper here, Eric Oliver. So a lot of pass rushers in this year's draft. Randy Fisher, one of these DNs who translate to D tackle, run stopper out of UCLA. A for block shed, has C power move, and had a draft story on him as he's been playing out of position apparently at UCLA this season, but great to elite there for strength. So if we don't get a D tackle early on, maybe Fisher there, someone on day 2 we can target. So I'm still at a crossroads. We are probably going to just go ahead and select George Jackson as one of our invites here for the super focused scouting, and then just let the rest of the offensive line board play out. I do like Will Hall here from Boston College, but a step down, I think, from George Jackson and Levi Falk. Falk is, of course, 4th on the national board, so I don't know if we'll have a chance to take him, especially with the way we've been stepping it up here in recent weeks, but we still have Buffalo's pick as well, which at this point we're probably going to have pick 12, maybe pick 10 or 12, and then probably Buffalo's pick 20, 24. And that's just a rough projection, of course. If we go on a run here, we can find ourselves in the playoffs. So one player selected. I am tempted to go for one of these D tackles. Almost maybe go for Mitchell Walker just because he's down the board a little bit, but the physicals actually aren't that bad. I mean, Mitchell Walker, we might just go him, because as much as I would like to bring in McGee or Tyrone Springs, I don't know if we're going to be in a spot to draft them. And also Mitchell Walker is pretty solid down the board a little bit, but I really like Springs and McGee much more. So we'll just move on now to outside linebacker, and we have J.J. Townsend here, another pass rusher at the outside linebacker spot. Probably a D end in our scheme with that F zone coverage. Does have C for block shed. Decent athlete, and the finesse move is at A to C, the block shed a C, power move C to F. So maybe someone towards the end of the first round, maybe with that Buffalo pick we could target. And we already talked about Colt McCormick here, I believe, pass rusher out of Auburn. I do like him a lot. He is 11th on the national board, but I like his flexibility, versatility, as he can rush the passer with A finesse move, C power move, and then B pursuit as well, and also has C man coverage. So kind of the jack of all trades there at the left outside linebacker spot. Someone I really like, and I'm kind of talking myself up into inviting him in as well, along with George Jackson. Imagine getting those two guys in the first round this year. My only apprehension, though, is that both of them are towards the top of the draft board, so I wouldn't want to waste a super focused scouting on two guys who are going to be drafted, just a few picks apart from each other. At least that's how it's projected. Coming over here to right outside linebacker, we also have Randy Lawson at 9th on the overall board. Power rusher out of Michigan. Really good size, 6'5", 258. B pursuit to start. Athletically, nothing great, though, so I think we might be out on him. But the A power move, you got to love that. But maybe not as good as other pass rushers in the first round this season. And Jonathan Street out of Texas Tech. Again, F for zone coverage, so a D end in our scheme. Pretty good athlete overall. Great to elite for acceleration. Good to great in 3 other categories. C for play rec, B for hit power, and we don't have any of his pass rushing traits uncovered, so C for block shot. I think Street might be someone we go for just based on default that at 16 he is down the board a little bit further than Lawson here and Colt McCormick, but I really like McCormick. There's also Taylor Goddard here, 27th on the board, more in our range in that Buffalo pick. He looks to be a pretty good athlete with A awareness, B tackle, D for zone and power move, so not as high on Goddard. And a little trivia for you, which Nickelodeon character had a dog named Goddard? Give me your answer in the comment, and if you answer correct, I will give you a shout out in the next episode. I know that'll be very special for you. So let's figure this out. I would go McCormick, but he's at 55% scouted, so I don't know how much further we really need to force it with him. And then there was Jonathan Street, who I said we didn't have any of his pass rushing traits uncovered, so maybe more worth it. And putting him side by side here with Randy Lawson, another pass rusher, he looks to be a better athlete even than Randy Lawson, just not as strong, not as big. But Lawson probably going to be selected in the top 10, so I think Jonathan Street is someone we could bring in to just get more scouting percentage at just 40%, one of the lower guys we have been talking about here. And again, just looks to be a pretty good athlete there towards the middle of the first round. So we have George Jackson, who we have already selected. We're not going to go for D ends as they're all going to be pretty much fully scouted by the time the draft rolls around. And then D tackle, should we go down the board a little bit here for Mitchell Walker? Balanced skill set to start, which you like. Decent athlete as well with great to elite speed. So I think with that speed being a good main draw here, we might just go for it. We could always bring in someone like McGee or Springs later on when we have our pre-draft visits. So we could always go back to that later on in the process. But I really like Colt McCormick, but we already have him 55%, so maybe hold off on him, along with Townsend, who is also 55% scouted, which leads me over here to Lawson and Street, but probably going to have a better shot at maybe drafting Jonathan Street, so we will add him as well. And then we'll come back to D-tackle, and I think we will just go Mitchell Walker. We don't even have him actually favorited on our board, but I don't know if we're going to have a chance to draft McGee and Springs, even though they're ranked towards the middle, late first round. Seeing as how they're the top guys at their position, there might be a high demand and they might go a little bit sooner, which might force us into a spot to draft Mitchell Walker instead if we don't get anyone here from the DN position to fill in that spot. And again, I like AJ Harbor and Josh Boyce here as 2D tackles. They're projected round 1 to 2. Any other in that mold as also Randy Fisher. So we're going to go Mitchell Walker out of LSU, Jonathan Street out of Texas Tech as we double up on defense. And then also George Jackson, who at this point is our top prospect for the 2028 NFL draft, but that strength is his biggest weakness. And now back to the action as a huge game here against the New York Giants from MetLife Stadium. We are just going to go ahead and sim it here as our Snowhawks looking for a win. Number 3 in a row. I don't know if we've had a 3-game win streak over the course of this franchise, as we did lose to the New York Giants last season to open the season on Monday Night Football. That was a bitter defeat. As let's get back in the win column as we fall again there to the Giants. So a game which was kind of, a make or break type game here at this stage in the season. And we do falter, losing by 3 points as we trailed 21-6 at halftime. Worked a valiant effort there in the second half to try and get it back, but just too little too late as Baker Mayfield now with the Giants. It looks like he came on in relief of Glenn Tyson, who had 277, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, very similar there to Lucas McDonald, who couldn't really build off that very good performance last week against the Packers. Rushing, not much here. Receiving, Marvin Harrison Jr. getting going, 9 for 112 and a score. Mark Andrews, 7 for 78 and a score. Just 1 catch for our rookie Carlos Alvarez. Only 1 tackle for loss for Bosa and Van Ginkel as they shared a sack, it seems. Interceptions, we had Dale Gilmore, his first interception of his career, the first-round pick out of Tennessee. And also Nathan Scruggs, I think his 3rd of the season. Todd Hayes, our rookie kicker, 2 for 2, and nothing doing on returns. So now with that, our Snowhawks fall to 5-7 as we have 5 games remaining. We're going to have at LA as we're still seeking our first division win. We will have another chance, if not this week, against the Seahawks down the line. And then we have home games against the Steelers and Titans, 2 AFC matchups before our final home game against the Seahawks. And then we'll close on the road against Minnesota as they're also battling for a wild card spot. So again, we will just take to the sim here against the Rams, our second matchup against them, as they beat us 22-19 back on Thursday Night Football. Going back to Week 9, what a game that was. A late rally for our Snowhawks, but we could not get the win. And then we will probably tune into this game against the Titans as they are holding a playoff spot right now in the AFC. And I'm pretty sure Kyler Murray is still their quarterback as they took him in the dispersal draft as we took over the Arizona Cardinals as our new expansion team in this franchise. So going to sim ahead a couple more games and we'll see where we stand at that point. But a huge one here against the Rams. They're 8-4, leading the division, also coming off a win. And Will Evans, their third-year quarterback, is actually 3rd right now in the MVP conversation. Quarterback from the same draft class as Lucas McDonald. And we do get the win there. Wow, I'm actually stunned that we were able to win that one because the Rams have had our number. And we win that one 34-28, so, just barely keeping our heads above water. And this one also went to overtime. Wow, so both matchups with the Rams this season go to overtime. This one, another shootout. Each team over 400 total yards as Will Evans adds to his MVP candidacy despite the loss, 359 through the air, as he trails only Patrick Mahomes in passing yards, also 4 touchdown passes. Lucas McDonald, 277. For 2 touchdowns, also an interception, and then rushing. Tank Bigsby, maybe his best game of the season, 85 yards, a couple scores, a long of 44. Kyron Williams, a pretty good day for the Rams. McDonald, another touchdown on the ground with 49 yards, and he is among the leaders among quarterbacks in rushing yards. And Dontavion Wicks, a great game for him, 6 for 122, a long of 70, as he averaged over 20 per clip, a touchdown. Mark Andrews, 8 for 91, a touchdown, and our rookie receiver, Carlos Alvarez, 5 for 55, as Marvin Harrison Jr. silenced to just 1 catch. Defensively, Quay Walker, our only double-digit tackle guy. 2 tackles for loss for Van Ginkel. And here's Tashawn Gross, who made his first career start. He was a 3rd-round pick out of Arizona State with hidden development, as he also got 4 tackles, as we're giving Van Ginkel more reps at D-end in the absence of Kwity Paye this past week. So We gave Gross some more playing time, as we're going to get some of our younger guys more reps here down the stretch, as Nathan Scruggs, another interception for him. I feel like he's had a few here down the stretch. Also a forced fumble for Nathan Scruggs, so emerging as a difference maker. Second round pick from last year out of Ole Miss. So now just 4 games left in this year 4 season, as we're now here into the final quarter. 3 home games, 3 in a row here against the Steelers, Titans, and Seahawks. And we are going to close on the road against the Vikings. If we can string together another couple wins here, we might be playing the Vikings for a potential wild card spot, as we'll get our first look at the playoff picture. And the Eagles currently the top seed. I think they've been the top seed the past 2 or 3 seasons of this franchise, maybe every year so far, as the Lions now down to the 2 seed. The Giants holding that final wild card spot, which would be a huge step up for them. The Rams and Saints leading their respective divisions, and the Cowboys also going for another wild card spot, along with the Packers, who we beat 45-30 to start this episode. And then in the AFC, Kansas City looking at that first round bye. And then we would have a in-division matchup here with the Ravens, who we also beat, and the Bengals, who we also beat, and then the Colts and Texans, who another in-division matchup there in the first round projected at this point. And then the Bills, who we have their first round pick, and the Titans, who are looking to spoil their playoff hopes here in these final weeks. So a huge game there against the Rams. What a win that proved to be, as we're still alive, but it's going to take probably a win in every week from here on out to keep that hope alive, as our Snowhawks seek our first playoff appearance in franchise history, as we're set to host the Steelers. And what are they going for, like their 50th playoff appearance in franchise history, as they are 7-6. I didn't realize they've strung together some wins here in the late going. So we'll take a look at the standings real quick, actually, and just going over to the NFC. So the Eagles and Cowboys probably making it in out of the NFC East, which leaves the Lions as the NFC North champion, probably the Rams as the NFC West champion. So 4 spots probably locked in, plus one more, probably the Saints here or the Buccaneers as the NFC South leader. And too bad we're not in the NFC South. We've just got such a unfair shake landing in the NFC West, where we have really struggled in division, but outside our division, we've actually played pretty good football, especially this season, as just going down the board, more than half the teams in the conference are 6-7 or 7-6. So these last few games obviously paramount in providing more clarity to the playoff picture. So we are still alive, but we need a lot to go in our favor, whereas in the AFC, pretty set, although you have a few teams down here like the Bengals, Steelers, Texans, and Titans battling for a couple wild card spots there. So a lot on the line for both sides in this game. As I said, we're going to simulate this one and then jump in for the key moments next week against Tennessee, but a lot on the line. Can we keep the hope alive and advance to 500? As we do come out with the win, 40-21, and we are still alive in the playoff picture. What a wild roller coaster this season has been, and our Snowhawks are getting hot. Out of the bye week, we're 3-1, winners in 4 of our last 5, by far the best stretch of football we've put together in franchise history, as we almost double the point total there of the Steelers. And we went into the fourth quarter trailing, and we just exploded for 20 points in that quarter. McDonald, 5 touchdown passes, 337 yards, and Justin Fields really struggled as he threw for just 139, a couple interceptions, and only 52% completion. Najee Harris, a good day on the ground for 88 yards. Justin Fields, 52 yards, as our running game has not really been much going on there, especially in the absence of McCaffrey, who was supposed to return by now, but rather playing it safe than sorry. And Vince Willis, the player we signed to fill his shoes, former second-round pick of the Chicago Bears, scores his first touchdown, as Carlos Alvarez, another huge day for our rookie receiver, 8 for 121, another couple scores, as I think he's now up to 10 touchdown catches on the season. I would say he's in play for Rookie of the Year, but I think the Cowboys quarterback Ben Davis is towards the top in passing yards. He's probably going to get it. Mark Andrews, a touchdown catch. Marvin Harrison Jr. gets a couple, as he was due for a big day. Dontavion Wicks, 3 catches for 46 yards. Blocking again, our tackles giving up a sack pretty much every week, as Ike Ekwonu and Colton Miller each gave up 2 this week. 9 tackles for Sexton, a few guys there with a tackle for loss, no sacks. And we had Jerry Sexton and Nathan Scruggs, another interception. He is absolutely heating up down the stretch, maybe 4 interceptions now on the season. And our kicker did miss a field goal and also had an extra point blocked, but no matter in this game. What a huge win for our Snowhawks. And we do have a few upgrades. I don't always show this, but since we're already in the menu, I figured I would share. And Matthew Torrance has been a huge addition, a huge step forward in his development this season. You see superstar development now with some abilities, as he has Stonewall, no outsiders, and tackle supreme. So all these pretty much tackle abilities, I believe. Although no outsiders is more of a block shed, which could play into that. But Matthew Torrance has been solid on the back end. I think going to be a defensive captain for us once Jalen Thompson moves on, which very well could be this offseason. So now looking at his ratings, I would like to continue filling out his mold as a run support safety, although he has been in the slot a little bit this season trying to fill in for that deficiency, but that's not where he's going to be long term. So I think we'll just go hybrid, try and get some of those coverage ratings up as well. Kind of play into both aspects. Only 2 upgrades though, +3 for man, so I guess we will take that. But Matthew Torrance, one of the building blocks on our defense that we have drafted into the organization. And speaking of which, here's Nathan Scruggs, who I said has been heating up, a lot of interceptions down the stretch, and we will take a look at his stats, a star development, and now 5 interceptions on the season, his second year out of Ole Miss, as he's really solidifying himself as a long-term starter on our defense. Still want to address that in the offseason, as he is that man-to-man mold. Probably just going to keep building on that, as he has 89 man coverage, 82 for zone, so even that isn't that bad. And hopefully going up in man also brings the zone up a little bit. A bunch of upgrades there, most notably +1 for man and zone, and +2 for play rec. And now here to Carlos Alvarez, our star wide receiver at rookie wide receiver, here out of Florida State. We'll take a look at his stats real quick, as he has had a bunch of upgrades over the course of this season, averaging 14.8 yards per catch, 10 touchdowns. And it looks like we made the right choice, as it was a crowded wide receiver class, but certainly happy with who we ended up selecting, as we have been trying to work on his route running, 85 short route, but that medium and deep route needs to go up a little bit. Maybe we just keep going into playmaker. We will just go playmaker, give him a little more ability with the ball in his hands. At 6'5", 233, he can even make plays in the short game if you give him some space. +2 for medium route, and then +1 in a bunch of different categories, as he's now an 80 overall, star development. But something tells me he's going to go up to superstar as early as next season, as he's proven to be a tremendous running mate here alongside Marvin Harrison Jr. So back to the standings. Actually, we'll just go back to the playoff picture. And still there at the 6th seed, or I think before they might have been the 5th seed, not sure, but I think they're 8-6 right now. We are 7-7, and I don't think anything has changed here in the NFC nor the AFC, so things have remained stagnant despite our win, that Steelers loss. And now looking at that quick snapshot of the division standings, we are now 7-7, tied with the 49ers, the Chicago Bears, and Packers, and Giants, all vying for a couple wild card spots. So between 5 teams going for 2 wild card spots. And then the NFC South, we also have the Saints at 7-7, so you would think they probably get in as a division winner, unless the Buccaneers can surpass them here in the final 2 weeks. But down on the tiebreaker against the 49ers, of course, they beat us twice, so our work cut out against them getting into the playoffs. So still a tall task ahead for us to sneak into our first postseason appearance, as we're going to close out against the Seahawks and Vikings, 2 6-8 teams. But before that, we are going to jump into this key moment game against the Tennessee Titans, as we are now back at Snowhawk Stadium. Our Salt Lake City Snowhawks desperately trying to sneak into the playoffs this season. And there's Nathan Scruggs, 5 interceptions for the second-year man out of Ole Miss. And there's Kyler Murray, former Arizona Cardinal, who comes over to the Tennessee Titans in that dispersal draft where we distributed that Cardinals roster across the NFL. Kyler Murray ends up a Tennessee Titan, as he has another year left on that 7-year contract he had signed. First overall pick, Roy McBride at wide receiver, as he was the first pick back in the 2024 NFL draft, I think it was, or the 2025, whichever was the draft there in year 1. But we're not talking about the draft right now. We're talking about the playoffs, as Lucas McDonald leading the Snowhawks team. A tremendous resurgence here in the second half of the season, as he came out crawling, just spiraling out of control a little bit. But he has since harnessed his talent, his leadership on this team, as he has rallied our Snowhawks to a 7-7 record now, as we have met our season goal, and we're trying to exceed that. So our first moment here, 3rd down against Kyler Murray, as it is a 3rd and 10. Tennessee threatening at Salt Lake City's 38-yard line. Murray on the drop back. Rolling right, gets that one off and does have a man open, as that is going to be stopped short of the line to gain the 4th and inches at the 28. Matthew Torrance there getting the stop, but not before the big completion. That's Sheldon Crowder, rookie tight end out of Notre Dame, 3rd-round pick, as they are going to bring the offense back out here to try and go for this 4th and inches conversion out in the I formation, as we often see in these short yardage situations, as Van Ginkel was there in the backfield. But a good second effort there by Sykes, rookie running back, as it will put us back into another moment here. Another 3rd down. This one more manageable, though, for our Snowhawks, as it looked like a minus 3-yard rush by Spears, and then an incompletion. So 3rd and 13 now from the 27. Murray out there empty. Sitting in the pocket, rolling to his right now, and Andrew Van Ginkel has accumulated a ton of sacks over the course of this season. Add another one for the pending free agent trying to cash in big late in his career. We brought him in a couple years ago, as this season he's really broken out, primarily coming off the edge as a pass rusher. And now we'll kind of go slower here on the ensuing drives. A 67-yard touchdown to Carlos Alvarez. He has yet to cease to impress us. Oh my goodness. 67-yard house call for Carlos Alvarez. Our Snowhawks on top here in the first quarter of this pivotal game to give us our 8th win of the season, as the Titans a 3rd down conversion there. And now a 3rd and 1 at the 50. That's going to be 2 yards for Tyjae Spears, as that kept it going. We also got a sack. I didn't see who that was, though. Now 3rd and 11, and they are going to throw us in for this key moment. Still here in the first quarter, our Snowhawks leading 7-3. 3rd and long for Tennessee at Snowhawks 48-yard line. Also, Jerry Sexton, our top linebacker, out for this game. Tashawn Gross going to get more reps, as Murray going to be forced to throw that one away, and our defense getting the momentum back after a big score on offense, and hopefully we can add on. A good punt all the way down to the 7-yard line. Snowhawks deep in their own territory, but we do get the 1st down, as McDonald there scrambled 22 yards there for Alvarez. Almost over 100 here in the first or second quarter. Now he is over 100, I think, with another 13, and then we get 15 there for McDonald, and it will throw us into another key moment here. But I think we just skip it on this drive. They're moving the ball. Just let them keep doing what they're doing. Another catch there for Alvarez, as it's now 2nd and goal at the 4. And our Snowhawks find pay dirt again, coming out guns a-blazing here in this late season showdown with the playoffs on the line. Tennessee desperate for an answer now, as it is going to be a 3rd and 4. I thought they would throw us in. They don't. Joey Bosa with the sack, and we're getting the ball back. 69-yard punt, though, from Brad Robbins, as again, Salt Lake City deep in their own territory, but it didn't matter before. Hopefully it doesn't now, as now a 3rd and 1 at the 13, and we get a 1st down, now 2nd and 4. After 6 yards to Andrews, another 1st down, and then 12 yards for Andrews. Sorry if we're going a little quick here. I'm just trying to get through this game, and because we probably will have a lot of game time down the stretch, I would imagine, of live looking time. And now here towards the end of the second quarter, we have a 1st down at the 17-yard line, so a big chance here to really put this one out of reach for Tennessee, as we do hit the 2-minute warning. 14-3 here in week 16 of this year 4 season. Our Snowhawks trying to advance to 8-7, which would be the first time ever, I think, that would be over 500. And now McDonald going to go over the middle there for Andrews, as he will drag a man there to the 10-yard line. So 2nd and 2. McDonald already over 200 passing yards, as he's really picked up his play here towards the end of the season, as we've said. Andrews there, the motion man, now 2nd and 2 at the 10. Drop back, going to swing that out for Tank Bigsby. Break the tackle as he cannot, so that will go for a loss. As the Titans call a timeout now, 1:07 here on 3rd down, setting up a screen there for Bigsby. We get the blocks. Bigsby some space, as he will get the 1st down to the 6. We burn our 2nd timeout, and that's not what you want to see. Marvin Harrison Jr. maybe holding his hammy or his ankle, as he does need some assistance off the field, so that's not what we wanted to see. As I think they throw Trey Palmer now in at receiver, free agent signing coming over from Tampa Bay. Haven't seen him much this season. McDonald there for Bigsby again, and he will catch that one in stride up the sideline. Nice delivery there. Good placement, as that puts us now at the doorstep, as Vince Willis checks into the game at running back, hoping to get Christian McCaffrey back next week. What was that? McDonald just going to rear back and rip that across his body. I don't know what that was, but definitely a dramatic throwaway, we'll say, as it's now 3rd and goal at the 1. This is where you just got to put Derrick Henry in. We need to be better utilizing him. as we get the touchdown there in the back of the end zone for Mark Andrews. A late 2-minute drill orchestrated by Lucas McDonald to really put this one in a comfortable lead going into halftime for Salt Lake City. Granted, Tennessee does still have some time to work with, but Lucas McDonald, 3 first-half touchdown passes, 1 for Andrews, 1 for Carlos Alvarez. I think maybe the other one, Dontavion Wicks, if I'm not mistaken. As spirits high here for Salt Lake City. It's been quite a ride, but after the bye week, we're looking to advance to 6-2 or 5-2, 5-1, something of that nature. A 17-play, 96-yard drive, and despite the weapon that has been the Tennessee punter, we generate 2 drives, back-to-back drives nonetheless, of over 90 yards to the house. And now 51 seconds for Tennessee, returning that from his own 2-yard line, as that will be brought down at the 29. So let's see if Kyler Murray can get something going for the Titans, as they are desperate here to get a win and keep themselves in the AFC playoff picture, as he is towards the top of the league in touchdown passes. Probably his best season so far as a Titan. And now out there empty. Got to look for Roy McBride in this spot, number 87. As Murray trying to roll away from pressure and does not. Rolls right into the arms there of Joey Bosa, his 6th sack now on the season. He's set to hit free agency. Not sure what we're going to do with him quite yet, as we are trying to instill some youth and some young talent off the edge. And now Murray on 2nd and 15. Again, nothing really open. Will run though, use his legs, as he's brought down by Torrance after a 6-yard gain. Now just 1 timeout left for the Titans, 37 seconds. Murray, and that's going to be knocked down by Nathan Scruggs. We've been talking about him a bunch here in this episode, and it's great to see our top corner making a play. I will say top corner, as he has supplanted Max Melton now on the depth chart, and Melton probably going to hit free agency, as he's kind of demanding a little more than we're willing to spend. Plus, we're trying to upgrade the cornerback position anyway. And that's Drew Collins, rookie out of Texas A&M. Haven't seen him much yet this season. And McDonald, look at that, 17 for 19 in a big game, 220 with 3 touchdown passes. And we made a statement all season, or at least in the first half of the season, how McDonald could not deliver down the stretch in close games. But in the big games here down the stretch, not so much the close moments, he has been his top form, as we will get Trey Palmer that time for 10. Up to the 47, and maybe we'll get some looks at Eddie Matthews in this one, 6'6" receiver out of Oklahoma State. McDonald that time not able to get away from the pressure. He will be brought down for the sack for the first time, as the clock will continue to tick. I'm not sure if we're going to get it back in time, how this AI runs it, and that will take us into the halftime, as a perfect start to this game for Salt Lake City, leading 21-3, and I believe we do get the ball to start the second half. And we are here late in the season. Our Snowhawks still alive somehow in this playoff picture, and a pivotal halftime update now, as we'll see what's going on around the league, as we need everyone in the NFC to lose pretty much, as we are set to check in on the halftime report. And we'll see where we start, going over to the West Coast, Seattle, as this is a tough one, as they are leading San Francisco 7-3. So I guess we do need the 49ers to lose, and then we would need to beat Seattle next week. Although I'm not really sure of the tiebreaker scenarios in that situation. Now Houston at Indy, not really a game that impacts us, although it does impact the AFC, as Houston now set pretty much to clinch the division. I think win and you clinch next week if you're the Texans, if not already. And now the Colts really need a Titans loss in this one to keep level with them, or keep above them, as the Packers do beat the Rams. So even the Rams now at 8-7, and we could maybe even get the division title if we win the next 2 games. What a nutty scenario developing here in the NFC. And we did beat the Packers already, so we would have the tiebreaker over them in a wild card scenario, I believe. So I have no idea what's even going on anymore. This playoff picture is just way too nutty, way too much to keep tabs on. As we'll get it going now here in the second half. We'll go fast paced until we get our first moment, as we got another touchdown, I think. We got 2 more touchdowns. What is going on here? Now we're into the fourth quarter. I have no idea what was going on. We gotta look at that. So go to stats here, game stats, and we will just go to scoring summary. So I guess that was the disadvantage of going quick on the Sims, although we got a touchdown there for Trey Palmer, his first as a member of the Snowhawks, filling in there for Marvin Harrison Jr., who I guess has not come back yet. Tajay Spears, a long touchdown run to answer that. But now here in the early goings of the fourth quarter, we got a touchdown by Tank Bigsby, as McDonald is now 25 for 30. Kyler Murray 11 for 19, just 98 yards. It's great to be on the other end of that. I feel like all season long we were just getting rocked, and it was just low spirits as a PCL sprain for Marvin Harrison Jr. and Carlos Alvarez, so each of them out for the game, as we're now down 2 receivers, but at least a big lead to work with, and we'll get a look at some of our younger guys too. Back to the key moments now, and we'll go at a normal pace this time so we don't miss too much action, as promptly the Tennessee Titans do score a touchdown. So 35-17 now, as they do have some life. Still a 3-possession game though, so just got to really milk the rest of the clock as we are going to the ground game here. Bigsby gets 6 and then 8 for a first down, as we do get a fresh set now, a 3rd and 9 at the 44-yard line, and we didn't get it, so we did have to punt. So Tennessee with the ball back, 8:55 remaining, as we'll just keep going. Normal sim, another Joey Bosa sack. He's been coming up huge in this game. 3rd and 11, they don't get it, so a 4th and 9, and they are going to have to go for it here with 7:12 remaining, as we will simulate this play. So this is pretty much for the game. You get the stop here if you're the Snowhawks. I think that all but does it, as a too big of a deficit to overcome with too little time to work with. As Murray, time to throw, and that's going to be knocked down again. Who but Nathan Scruggs? I think he has almost like 20 pass deflections so far this season, which by far the most we've ever seen by a Snowhawk player over the course of this franchise. So Lucas McDonald, flawless here in week 16, maybe the biggest game so far of his young career, and he certainly answered the call. And I guess we will just watch the remainder of this game, close it out, as we are set for a huge episode next time out. I'm not even sure of the format. I guess I was going to split it into one episode, but I guess since the magnitude that we have now found ourselves in, I am probably going to just do one game, one episode. So 2 more episodes of this regular season, and hopefully we survive and have more to come of this year 4 season. Otherwise, it's going to be a wrap-up episode leading into the offseason. McDonald down the field there for Drew Collins, our rookie out of Texas A&M, out of the slot, was there in the end zone. McDonald just missed him, as we have Eddie Matthews, number 19, 5th-round pick out of Oklahoma State, and also Drew Collins, 3rd-round pick out of Texas A&M, going to be seeing some reps here to fill in for our injured receivers. And McDonald now from the pocket, going to try and reset, as he will step up and run on 3rd down, tries to make a man miss, as he only got a few more after that, and that will bring up a 46-yard field goal now for Todd Hayes. He's been pretty decent overall, but actually disregard. We're going to bring out the offense. Love the aggressiveness. Just going for the kill here, keeping that clock going. Derrick Henry against his former team, and he will be met by Jerome Baker, as Baker will win the battle. And that's going to be a turnover on down, so some late hope here for Tennessee, as Derrick Henry really wanted to deliver. We had a touchdown for him against Baltimore earlier in the season, as he was trying to get another taste of a revenge against one of his former teams. Not that time, maybe later on, as Kyler Murray has to step it up here. Not a good game we saw earlier, just 11 for 19 for like 97 yards or something, but probably will be able to add on to that total, as they're probably going to be trying to sling it here. 5:17 left. Going to try to screen now, as they do get that for Spears. That will be a first down up the sideline, and that'll be a nice 20-yard gain to start. Now 4:45 left at the 47-yard line. Murray, quick read, they're going to just go for the easy one. I think that's Roy McBride, who we've been talking about. Former #1 overall pick there, along with Kyler Murray. So one of those instances where, one of the rare instances where a #1 pick throws a pass to a #1 pick. As they are going to find Tajay Spears, as he breaks the coverage there against Quay Walker. And now a quick one here by Tennessee, as they are inside the red zone from the 15 now, as I think they're going to try and hurry it up. Swings that out for Spears, and he's met by the rookie Tashawn Gross, projected starter at linebacker next year, as he has been getting more reps here down the stretch. And now 2nd down after the incompletion. 2 tight ends for the Titans, as they will go for Spears, and he's brought down by Caleb Patton. Now 3rd down, Kyler Murray goes to the second read there for the end zone. That's out of the reach of his intended receiver, which will bring up now a pivotal 4th down. Nathan Scruggs there on the coverage. And let's see if they can extend this yet again. Murray checking it there. Here from the shotgun. Murray over the middle of the field. That's knocked down by Tashawn Gross. I think our linebackers are allergic to securing interceptions, although that time on 4th down, I guess you're playing for the field position. but still, we need that XP, Deshaun. We need that XP to upgrade you. As Lucas McDonald will bring the offense out. I can only imagine they're going to run it a bunch here down these final couple minutes. And for that, we will throw Derrick Henry in, try to get him some more carries on the season. Haven't used him too much, as a good one that time gets 9. The Titans, a top 10 defense in terms of points allowed, but we have been able to expose them here in this late season showdown. Back to Henry. Good lead block that time by Conwu, as he's been tore up in pass protection time and time again this year, but at least standing up there in run support, leading the way there for Henry, as that does run us down to the 2-minute warning. A phenomenal game here. I can't say enough how fun these past couple episodes have been. This one in particular, we had that great start against the Packers, and it's really just been an uptick since then, an ascension, as our Snowhawks flying high, trying to fly high into the playoffs, as Derrick Henry 1 yard to the outside. 2nd and 9. Tennessee still all their timeouts. Not sure if they're going to save them for now or just not call any. As a good lead block there by Darnell Washington. Henry up the sideline. He gets, I think, 22 that time, as he matches his jersey number, but that does stop the clock, so that does aid Tennessee. Another one here for Henry, and that one for 2. So it looks like the Titans will not call any timeouts. We're not even going to go for the kneel down. Looks like another give for Henry upcoming, which I'm all about. I think only like 20 carries entering this game, as that time swallowed up. So that does appear to do it. Our Salt Lake City Snowhawks are victorious here in Week 16. What a game against the Tennessee Titans. We advanced to 8-7. What a late season resurgence we have had. Kyler Murray distraught, as are the rest of the Titans, as they're maybe falling out of the playoff picture there. Lucas McDonald, what a game, but he's been so inconsistent. I know it's been a much stronger second half of the season, but he's been super inconsistent, so I could very well see us going into next week and then him just having another bad game, but hopefully not the case. We're going to take this into the end of the episode, as this is where I'm going to leave you folks. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you tune back for what has emerged to be an insane playoff picture developing here. So next episode we are at Seattle in the division showdown to end this, or to end our division play, as we are 1-4 in the division. And if the Seahawks win this week against the San Francisco 49ers, that just makes it all that more important that we need to win next time out. 151 and a touchdown for Carlos Alvarez, as I think he will be fine to come back next week. 2.5 sacks for Bosa, 2 for Patton. No interceptions, but who cares when your team plays like that? So what an episode it was. And again, I really hope you tune back to see how this Year 4 Snowhawk season concludes, as the drama, the suspense, and the tension is certainly building. But as always, everybody, it's been real, and be well. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.